Now, to follow on from my last video where we went over what were the most evil weapons in Warframe mechanic-wise, right, how they function, not their overall power, but just how they went about killing your enemies, right, how evil those weapons were, some of you suggested making a full criminal loadout, right, a full setup based around Warframe, weapons, and of course your companion of choice that was basically going to be called the Geneva Suggestion setup. So here we are. This is all just for fun, okay? Let me know in the comment section below what would be your full space criminal setup, right? Mechanic-wise, not overall power, but how the weapons and the Warframe functions. Now, the obvious choice for Warframe for the space criminal tag would probably be Siren, right? I mean, she spreads viral and corrosive, drops that snake skin molt of herself that entices enemies towards it, and then explodes in a toxic mist. A bloody plague on enemies, right? Actual biological warfare. But there are other Warframes you could choose as well. Now, weapons would be something explosive, like the Ogress, the Brahma, the Envoy, the Lens, something that's going to send body parts absolutely everywhere. You get the idea, right? Now, secondary-wise, the Zymos is easily the scariest secondary gun in-game, mechanic-wise. When you think how it works, how the spores dig into enemies' brains and then explode, spreading more spores to nearby enemies, which then sets off this kind of nightmare fuel chain reaction, it's definitely the most evil gun we have. But the Spore Laser Kit Gun would be a close secondary for me because it fires exploding spores that absolutely wreak havoc. Now, melee weapons could be the Atarax with its spinning blender blades at the end of the whip, the explosive Jatka tag slamming away, even the Tenet exec slamming if you've seen Mr. Warframe Guy's Welcome to the Slam video covering it, where it's absolutely just evil. That could be a good choice. So there are definite choices for weapons you could be running with. But Warframe-wise, I wanted to try something a little bit different. My Panzer Vulpaphyla companion also spreads viral spores, so I'm going to use it instead of Siren. Oberon is the GOAT, a self-sustaining druid of death, one that can spread radiation, which is also a bloody crime. He drops his big radioactive fuzzy carpet on the ground, which makes enemies confused, and then they start kicking the holy hell out of each other. Now, to make matters worse, I've also popped Ensnare onto my Oberon Prime in place of his Smite ability. This means that I'm also giving my enemies a nice cozy blanket of barbed razor wire, which wraps them up good and snug in it, right, just before I shoot them in the face with my explosive weapons of choice. So I'm putting down his hallowed ground, dragging enemies onto it with Ensnare, and then shooting them in the noggin. Now, I did try Ember's Fire Blast instead of Ensnare, and it works really well as well. So you can set enemies on fire, you can remove their armor, you can spread viral, spread radiation, corrosive, and just death in general. So it is also there for you if you want to use it. My Kuvazar is my primary of choice, which is an actual cannon. So you're running around with a big explosive cannon. A cannon that drops cluster grenades just in case the first bloody explosive doesn't kill you outright. I want to make sure that the follow-up gets the job done. The Kuvazar is also an incredibly good primary weapon for spreading slash procs, making enemies bleed, staggering them and removing their heads, so it's definitely worth trying out. Secondary weapon of choice has to be the Zymos, right? I know I wanted to try different things, but the Zymos is just too evil to not have on a list like this. It just has to be part of the setup. Now, melee-wise, I've popped on the Ghoul Saw, right? It is an evil weapon when you think about how it functions, but now that I think about it, a weapon like the Karst Dagger might have been absolutely perfect for this because it is an embalming tool, right? So it's used for embalming your enemies. You can kill them with the rest of your setup, and then you can prepare their bodies to be put into the ground with the Karst. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity on my side. So that's my Space Warframe loadout. Now, what would your Geneva Suggestion setup be if you could pick the most evil-sounding weapons and the Warframe of choice? Complete with, I guess, subsumed ability if you wanted to go down that road as well. Let me know in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.